the developers put out their notes for the month of December, and they let everybody know that the game is being delayed. All right, so picking up right where we left off, the December notes come out, and we find out from Steel City that the game is going to be delayed. Now, December was important, all right, because this was really when we kind of started to see like a little bit of a divide in the community as a whole. So you had the individuals who like fully supported and said, look, I understand why we're being delayed. I get it. Look, we've waited this long. We'll wait a little bit longer, right? But then you also had the individuals that said, hey, look, you told me that I was going to be able to see this game in December, and now I can't. This sucks, right? And again, December was important because that was actually supposed to be the initial time frame for when the community was supposed to get early access. And look, that don't think that the devs didn't know that there was going to be some form of like backlash from the community, saying that the game is going to come out this time, and then all of a sudden the game gets delayed, right? They're not foolish. They completely anticipated that was going to happen. Hell, us as content creators knew that when the game got delayed, that the community, there was going to be some form of backlash. But I will say this, the response from the community at the time really wasn't that bad. You had people like, of course, myself, Study, and like Empire Pro Tape, who basically came out and said stuff like, look, man, like we're going to be here regardless of how long it takes for this game to come out. But I think the important thing about it, and this is really why I pointed out Study, shout outs to him, was it was the transparency from the company, the developers at Steel City, to say, hey, look, we have a problem. We're going to delay the game. This is why we're going to delay the game. But at the same time, this is what we're doing. This is where we're headed. Just so you all know that we're not delaying it just to delay it. They were completely transparent on what the issues were and why it was being pushed back. I mean, it was literally an apology to the community with just about every answer that you could have wanted from somebody who said, hey, I'm gonna give you this, but then turned around and said, sorry, I gotta take it back. All right, so jump to January, and things have actually kind of started to die down a little bit, right? Like people have kind of gotten over the shock of the game being delayed, all this type of stuff. And then the developers drop, well, backtrack real quick. During this time though, there's only a couple of topics that people are really talking about when it comes to eSports Boxing Club. That's of course gameplay, the roster, and character creator. So career mode, of course, but that was less talked about. That's more talked about now than it was then. But the character creator, and more specifically when it came to character creator, it was whether the game would actually have like a fighter share system. Now, I'll tell you that this was a huge topic in my community. I don't know about everybody else's, but I know it was a pretty big topic in mine. And it's actually one of those topics that has faded a little bit that I would actually like to bring back, because I really think that is a feature that, look, if we have any influence as a community, not just as a creator, but as a community as a whole, if we have any influence on this game, I think that is one of those things that we should have. And what that is, for anybody who don't really understand what fighter share is, it is your ability to create a fighter in the game, but then be able to share the fighter that you created with other members of the community. So if I wanted to create my version of Floyd Mayweather, stats and all, I would be able to then share my creation with other people. Other people would be able to potentially compete against my creation online, that type of stuff. There's so many different things that can be done with just that system being implemented alone. Imagine being able to take somebody else's creation and then hire them as sparring partners, to prepare for fights. So I need that to kind of come back into the forefront a little bit. But all right, I got off topic a little bit, but anyway, January, the character creation video drops, and it's like there is this shift in the community from, oh wow, the game was delayed, to, hey, don't rush it because I like what I'm seeing right now. And this was one of the longest, if not the longest video that we had gotten from Steel City since the beginning. I think this video was somewhere around 14 to 15 minutes long, and it was just an in-depth go straight into the character creator, how you can create your fighter, the clothes, the body types, hair, all that type of stuff. And when it really came to the character creator, there was a few things that people talked about. Hairstyles. I personally had a Twitch stream where people asked for something more than just cornrows and afro, you know what I'm saying, afros for your African American fighters, man. Can we get like some 360 waves or something like that? Look, I keep mines wrapped up, you know what I'm saying? It'd be nice to create my fighter in my likeness, you know what I'm saying, with some 360s or something. But yeah, it was honestly, it was small stuff, you know, but it highlighted other things. What other brands were going to be in the game? What other types of shoes? It was you really started getting into the deep intricacies of the game itself and the presentation. All right, so fast forward to February of 2021, right? And we start getting some of the answers to exactly those things, right? We end up finding out that Claudio Reyes and Rival Boxing Gear are now coming online. So now we got more organizations that are joining the game. But then we get hit with like this 6 straight days of Legends releases. Like they go 6 days in a row where they release a legend that is coming to the game. Now that did something for the community, man, because the community, look, as much as we like our current fighters and things like that, come on, man, we all got a soft spot for our legends too, you know. And then they had these like gold backgrounds and all that type of stuff, man. And look, I try to talk them into getting me in there, you know what I'm saying? I even had a little mock-up ready, you know what I'm saying, for, you know, Coach as a legend. But I mean, we could have did a 7th day, but they wasn't ready to rock with that yet. All right, so then, you know, we in February, we get, you know, a couple new like in-game shots, stuff like that. I think we ended up getting to see like some of the arenas and everything. And then, man, in comes March. And March comes with the fighter announcement show. All right, so over 3-month period, March, April, and May, we got 3 separate fighter announcement shows. All right, and fighter announcement show 2 was actually really one of the like highlight ones for me, man, because they actually took time to incorporate the reactions and stuff from the first fighter announcement show from some of the creators into the second show, which was pretty dope. And you'll see certain people like King Juice, Fanatico, Study, stuff like, you know what I'm saying, are actually in there. So I thought that was straight because they was really getting the community like involved into their production. So I look, I know some of y'all probably sitting back going, well, Coach, man, where you at? How come you ain't in there? I didn't stream a lot during that time, and I still don't stream a lot now. After that, I did start like streaming the announcements and stuff like that. So most people who were around then know that, you know what I'm saying? Most of them will tell you, look, man, if you had probably streamed, you probably would have been in there. I don't know that. But I mean, I got a shout out in a monthly update, you know what I'm saying, once. So look, I'm cool, man. I don't need all the spotlight. But I thought that was dope that they went that extra step to incorporate the actual community. But these shows, man, the amount of hype that these shows produced was probably the highlight period of this entire life cycle. So from March, April, and May. Oh, and mind you, during that time, we also got an additional gameplay video, which was, oh my God. So the alpha gameplay trailer that we got, man, it gave us a lot, dude. Like, there were a lot of videos being made out there, full breakdowns from everything that was in that video. That video, I think, was roughly about 7:30 or 8 minutes long. And I mean, it talked about the feigning system. It talked about fighting off of the back foot. You saw like 4-way directional punching. You saw, man, pieces of how the career mode is going to be. You saw how you got an idea of how the corner system was going to work. You got to see a little bit more of the footwork. It just like, and then you saw the evolution in the way that the game actually looked from the previous video that we had gotten. And you got to see that the punches had actually developed. You had, look, prior to this video, the previous video had people making videos about what a flicker jab was. And like, it was just, the punches had always been like at the center of attention when it came to any form of criticism for eSports Boxing Club. But by the time you got here, you started to see where, you know what I mean? Like, things had really, really like developed and everything was trending still in the right direction. You had this really cinematic look, man, to the colors and the lighting and all that kind of stuff, man. It was this real hit to where, and I'll almost say that this is where people started saying, look, you give me this game right now. I'll play this right now based off of this trailer. I don't need nothing else. All right. Because it was literally that good and it delivered that much. All right. So that video came out in April. We get another fighter announcement show 3 in May, which let us know that, you know, Muhammad Ali was going to be in the game. But then also in May, we end up getting like an extra small announcement show. And it's small, but it's big, man. Like, we get it for literally one fighter, and we get the announcement, man, that they have landed, of all people, Canelo Alvarez into eSports Boxing Club. And it was like, if they can get him, they can pretty much get anybody in the game that they want at that point. You tell me you already have Ali. Now you're telling me that Canelo Alvarez is in there. And then we start seeing interviews about other people are being talked to. Mike Tyson, Deontay Wilder, Anthony Joshua, Tyson Fury, Floyd Mayweather knows about the game. And you really get this sense that, and mind you, the size of the roster had already grown to somewhere over 200 by this point. And you're really wondering now, I know I am, but you're wondering now, who can't they get? When are they going to run into that individual that says, yeah, I'm just not going to do it, if they haven't already? But you really get a sense that at this point, if they wanted to get every new or top fighter into the game, that they could get them. And here we are, like at the end of the road, right? This is probably where ESBC takes its really like first like lull in the action. You know, June 2021. We really didn't get much out of June. There were things that creators really was kind of on their own, really had to make their own content. You know, there was a whole lot of like what if videos that were going on. Interviews happened. I did one with Jamel Herring, which was actually really good. I did another one with Suleiman Urbina, another member of the ESBC roster that was really good. Fred Talks Fighting, shout outs to him. He actually was a good deal of the June content from his interviews with like Ty Grisham and Ryan Rhodes. So if y'all haven't checked them out, go check them out. But it was just what we got from the developers during the time of June was really very, very minimal. Now, what should that really tell most people? I mean, that is up until we got the June update, which just honestly just dropped. What should that tell people? Looking back at the entire timeline, all right, have the developers really delivered? Can we answer that question? I have to say yes. I have a hard time saying no to that, all right? There's going to be a few things that are going to get picked out of there, all right? People are still kind of worried about, the punches. We still don't know about the career mode, not all the way. We don't know about tournaments. I really need to know about tournaments because that would be, I need to know about tournaments. We don't know, we haven't seen like the new gameplay yet, but we know they've already told us that, gameplay is coming soon. And we don't have any solid dates. Okay. And I think that over everything else is probably the most glaring thing, is that we still don't have any solid dates. Now, I made a video a few weeks back where I said, look, I think it's about time that we go ahead and we start giving out solid dates if I'm Steel City. And then just I think last week, the luscious beard banded old boxing fanatico does a similar video where he states the same thing. Like, I think it's time that we start to drop like some solid dates. Now, listen, I say that, but at the same time, I completely understand why. All right. They've already done that once, kind of. All right. They said, look, game's going to be early access December 2020. We don't meet the timeline. Mind you, COVID, a huge factor there. But they still had to retract and say, look, we can't do it at this point in time. We're sorry, right? And I don't think any company wants to do that twice. So I get it. I understand. As much as I still want it, I still completely understand. And I understand the business aspect of how it's running. So I'll say this, take the time, right? This is 2 parts, probably somewhere surfing around 30, 35 minutes of just looking back from start to now and looking at actually how much time this game has really been in development. A game of this magnitude is usually in develop far longer than what we are looking at right now. All right. And then everything that we've seen has still been in alpha, which means a finished product is probably going to look a whole lot different from what we're actually looking at right now. And look, I've been a part of this journey for a while and I've enjoyed every bit of it, man. The ups, the downs, the community conversations, the videos where we had creators like getting at each other about certain aspects of, the punch animations and stuff like that. Dude, I wouldn't go back and erase any of that for anything, man. And like, I'm not giving up yet. All right. And I think that's the biggest point. Have the developers delivered? Yeah. Did we have one slow month? Yeah. Have they really done anybody any wrong? Nah. And mind you, I don't work for these guys, man. I don't get paid by a single one of them. But I am a fan of this sport, and anything like this that brings additional eyes on the sport that I am literally in love with, man. Like, I'm behind it 100%. We haven't had a boxing game in a long time, man. Not a really, really good one. And everybody knows, man, Fight Night Champion is the last one that we had. Yes, there's a Creed like arcade game out there. You know what I'm saying? But that ain't what I'm here for, man. I'm not here for that. Yo, eSports Boxing Club looks to be what it is that we've looked for a long time, man. So look, I understand we get frustrated. I understand we get impatient. I understand we want what we want when we want it. And look, I'm no different. All right. But I'll tell you this. I think everybody will be pleasantly surprised, man, when we finally get what it is that they're promising us. And I'm not going anywhere. I make videos like these, man, because I understand that people like this are watching. All right. That is proof that the developers of this game are always watching. They've consistently listened. They've consistently paid attention. And I don't really know what more that I can ask for from them outside of solid dates and answers to some of those things where I said we still kind of don't know. So this really concludes the history. If I missed anything, like, look, feel free to go ahead and drop them down in the comments. Look, there's also a lot of creators out there, man, who are making content. It ain't just me. There's a lot of creators out there who are making stuff now. And I'll have names of all those creators. I have links to their stuff down in the comments, man. Go check out some of their stuff. Go back and look at the old content that people made before June. All right. But that's all I got, man. Appreciate y'all for sticking around. Look, when I first started making content, man, I think I was at like 12 subscribers. And look, we're staring down 1,000 now. Appreciate y'all, man, for riding with a brother, man, through this whole journey. For any of my old heads, man, who was there from the beginning. Appreciate y'all. All of the new subscribers, appreciate y'all. We ain't done. There's a whole lot more content coming. I got a couple of interviews already kind of like scheduled. And look, man, we just gonna keep moving. The game will come. All right, it'll come. And that's it, man. That's it from the Coach's Corner. I'll catch y'all on the next one. Peace out.